Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
A little bounce with it. We are so back this week. We're so back this week. Finally.
So fucking back. Wait, welcome back to our bullies.
Hey, bullies. We have a name for you guys. If you're still here with us.
If you've listened to 4 hours of us talking and you can find us on Instagram, find us and follow us.
Yeah. Follow us.
Because now we're friends.
We're friends. Y'all are for real bullies. Merch coming soon.
Merch coming soon, guys. Shout out to for that suggestion. We started with some fan mail last week. We did get fan mail again this week. I just didn't recap it, but we're getting great feedback on the show.
Thank you
guys for listening. If you have some thoughts that you would like to share with us, you should know how to get in contact with us.
Or if you want to leave a comment, leave a comment.
Leave a comment, but don't do too much. If you're a bot,
do too much.
Ignore what we just said.
Yeah, we will block you. We will report you. Don't worry about that. That will happen.
For sure. But our listener shared a really interesting thing that is going to come up this week, and she commented on the scene with Yasmin and Harper, and this line, this stuck out to me because it came back up in my watch this week. Okay. But when Harper says to her, Yas, all this stuff is not going to give you the respect you think you deserve. And she thought it was interesting that she said the respect you think you deserve, and it's not going to get you respect, or it's not going to get you the respect you deserve. And how that is probably what was cutting. And I was like, okay, I'm tracking with you. I'm tracking with you. And I think that kind of tension comes up later on in the episode too. Yeah.
Because what Yaz wants, I don't think she really even knows what she wants for sure. She just wants respect.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think it matters the type, which we'll, I think, get into this week. And what realm does Yasmin want to respect? I don't know. But she needs to figure it out quickly, or she will be in the jail. She will go to jail.
Yeah. Like, there's genuinely nowhere else for her to go.
There's nowhere else for her to go. It's getting dark.
It's like daylight savings time. Daylight savings time in the winter dark.
It's getting dark.
Yeah, so good little tidbit to start the episode with. Should we get into a recap?
Let's get into it. What happened this week? Let's get that summary going.
Episode 3, Habseligkeiten. I speak German, thank you.
I will not say that this week. You will not hear me say this.
When I looked this up, we'll get to the scene where the title name is dropped, but she describes Habseligkeiten as the possessions that are closest to your soul. Mm-hmm. But when I looked it up, it was actually the possessions of like a penniless person, and how it literally translated is to have, and then like serendipity or some sort of similar wording to that. Mm-hmm. And that the tension between the two root words can cause you to almost have sympathy for the person having those things. It's like you have these possessions, but you don't have anything else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Ooh, okay.
We do a little research around here.
We do research. We do research on Bullish. We do research. I like that.
But let's get into this summary. So episode 3 is a fast-paced journey back into the heart of industry, corruption, and finance.
Our favorite.
Sterntal is diligently building their team of world killers, but investors can already smell the volatility. James at Finn's Digest is on the precipice of discovery, and it's only a matter of time before the lid is blown off Tinder 2.0. Meanwhile, the Tinder C-suite sees its star rising with just one final obstacle to clear. Their former fascist board member will not agree to vouch for an Austrian banking license so that Tinder can begin its world domination. Mm-hmm. Social pleasantries and political correctness be damned, the Tinder team is doing its best to find an in with the family that sponsored the Reich.
The third one at that.
Tensions flare as the characters navigate some pretty weird interpersonal dynamics.
Say the least.
Weird is the understatement of the century here. Eric and Harper, Harper and Eric's daughter, Sweetpea and Rishi, Henry and Hayley, and Yas.
Just Yasmin.
We will soon find out how it feels to finally have the power.
I like that. That was good. That was a good way of putting it. Weird to say, to say the least. Ugh. I don't know. This show, to a certain extent, is starting to disgust me a little bit. But
I was going to bring this up kind of later on in the episode. It is disgusting, but I do think that it holds a mirror up to characteristics that a lot of people aren't willing to confront.
Yeah, I can see that.
What you will do for power, what loneliness can do, what feeling purposelessness can do to the psyche, like all of those kind of like dark, it's like the dark thoughts manifested if people actually acted on them and were kind of unapologetic about acting on them, because all of them have different goals, but they are still kind of by any means necessary, like at the expense of themselves, at the expense of others. So it's dark, but I cannot lie, I love it.
I do too. I'm not saying that I hate it. It's just like, whoa, you guys.
It is. I wrote that.
One, it is fun. It's fun and it's dark, but also the areas that it gets nasty in, we're getting downright disgusting. Right?
Yes.
We are pigs in the mud, like dirty, like whoa. But, let's jump into our recap. We're already capping without even getting there for real. So let's get into the recap. Let's start. We're right in it. We open, Eric Tao is on the phone. They're making plays. Stern Tao is here. And I'm here. I'm standing in the room with them, shaking my head and taking notes.
You're bullish.
I'm bullish. I love me some Stern Tao. And this episode pushes it forward.
Eric opens with this line: people mistake their needs being satisfied for freedom. Meanwhile, Harper is trying to get information. She gives a canned quote to the Finn Digest. She's trying to build a business.
She's trying to build a business, and Jim really doesn't want that. He's just like, girl, okay, I'm not here to help you get more investors. That's not what we're doing. What do you have on Tinder? I need this because I'm trying to publish a piece. Like, this isn't about you right now. So don't make it about you.
Of course, Harper cannot. It's impossible.
It's impossible. Everything is about her. Oh, my precious little narcissist. She's just so...
Precious little narcissist is crazy. This is my thing with Harper, listeners. We haven't covered this from season 1, which again we might revisit that, but
yeah,
my issue with Harper, you always got to be on the side of the black girl, but Harper is out of her mind and refuses to take any responsibility for when she is out of her mind. And personally, that's just something I hate, but for the purposes of this world, you do have to have a little bit of Harper in you to stay alive.
Yeah, that's her way to float, but she is really off her rocker 99% of the time. And she kind of tells us a little bit why this episode, but I mean, she's a problematic fave. I like problematic black girls. I think we
Yeah.
need more of that because that's what reality is. Everyone's not black girl magic. Sometimes they're black girl wickedness.
Sometimes we're black girl tragic.
Black girl tragic. Black girl
Some
traumatized. Word to Meg.
yeah. Sometimes it's giving traumazine. Um, Harper is. I can already see at this point Harper is about to get into something that is really gonna blow up.
Yeah. She's digging into something that is really meaty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As she's talking to James though, Eric is on the phone with Hillary Wyndham,
Mm-hmm.
Pure Point alum.
Pure point alone. We get a lot of them this episode.
We get quite a few, and also as that conversation is happening and Harper is talking to James, Harper kind of blows up James's spot and is like, "Are you personally shorting Tinder? Like, would it benefit you to be talking negatively about them?" And we get into the fact that James has lost all of his money on a short.
On a short, yeah. Doing FTX or whatever. Some type of, I guess, on his phone type of trading. What were people doing during COVID? What were those people during COVID where they were doing the short bet?
Forex.
Forex. He lost his money Forexing. And so I don't understand. I do understand Harper wanting to be like, are you doing this for money? Are you about to get me in trouble? Because she's already been down that path. She's
Mm-hmm.
been there, done that with that level of fraud and insider trading and deception. And this is the most honest she's been.
Yes, she asked him, "Is he rebuilding his life?" And he gets immediately defensive and says, "I'm building my life through honest work."
Hmm.
Is it honest?
Is it?
We about to
Who
see.
has fucked James?
I think
Honestly,
we're getting close to that.
I think we're getting close to that because why is he so like I get wanting the story, but why are you
Mm-hmm.
so in it like this that you're stalking people, willing to go to the other random short person? Mind you, Harper, yeah, she's a player in the game. She was a 30 under 30, but she's kind of been quiet. So why does he think she's so important for this pool?
He's extremely bullish on this story,
Yeah.
and so I think over the next few episodes, I would be curious to see. I would be curious to see James going to Africa, as we'll get to. But
I can't wait. I think we have two
why?
episodes.
Yeah, I think. Well, actually, I think it's next episode. I think they're in Africa.
Next episode? Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So while that conversation is happening, Eric is talking to Hillary Wyndham, who has a pension fund that he's in charge of that they were trying to get to invest into Stern Tao. And he's breaking down this new business venture to him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm with Harper," and Hillary is basically like, "Who?" And Eric says, "Harper from Pure Point," and Hillary Wyndham says, "Unforgettably forgettable memories on the killing floor."
Oh wow.
Ouch.
Wow. Ouch.
And I said, "Is Stern Tao yesterday's man?"
Oh.
Is Stern Tao having a legacy media effect?
I think Stern Tao is really a nobody. Like they don't even have a drop of water in their bucket yet.
Mm-mm.
They're still on the ground floor, but they're on the come up in my book.
You're in it with them on the ground floor. You're at ground
I'm
zero
in
with
it.
Stern Tao.
I'm there. Hat on the way.
Hat OTW. So as they're having this conversation, Harper's kind of listening in. Eric closes off the call with, hang in there with your son. Hope you get your money's worth while he's at Yale. He'll come back to you. Just, friendly man-to-man banter about their children.
Yeah, being fathers.
Being fathers. Harper says, "What is this, the Debbie Dads Club?"
Gotcha.
And he was genuinely like, not you just
Whoa.
clocked my teeth.
Yeah, whoa.
And then Harper says, I think this is too intimate of a space for us to be working together. Also, subtle foreshadowing.
Because where are they? Are they in her house?
It looks like they're in the
hotel room?
In a hotel, like a suite. But she did say, we'll get to later in this episode, but Eric is covering the overhead. Okay. So I don't know if it's Eric's house or if it's if that's his London home, if that's just a temporary setup.
Just his little drop pad, whatever.
Yeah. So we're in it with Stern Towel. Stern Towel is moving and grooving. Yep. We flip quickly to the Mucks.
Back to the Mucks, and what are they doing? Kissing on the mouth.
Having sex again.
I'm like, oh my God. I thought we were over it last episode, but they doubled it and gave us more this week.
Double it and gave it to the next person.
I wrote in my note, oh God, the Mucks. Gross.
Because every time they come on screen, you know, something just nasty is about to happen.
Uncomfortable. Like, I feel like I'm getting a little, I don't know, like.
You getting violated.
Molested. Like, oh my God.
Yasmin says, when you fuck my mouth like that, mind you, they're kissing.
Listeners, I just dropped my hands. I just dropped my head into my hands. Like, please.
I didn't even write the rest of the quote down because I'm like, this is just too much.
I said gross.
Yeah. Hayley walks in, like, as this moment is kind of finishing up. Yeah. And basically, like, tells Henry he has something to do. And Henry says, you can't be talking like that in here. And Yasmin says, I can and I will. Ugh. So the gist of this scene is they're trying to pitch some good PR to Bevan. Tinder's in a tight spot. They're trying to get this merger through so that they can become a licensed bank in Europe and kind of continue on with Whitney's plan to kill banks, to be a bank killer. Yeah. And Yasmin is prepping Henry for this meeting with Jenny Bevan, who we've met a couple of times now.
Yeah, our AOC.
Our AOC beat Muck out of his seat. That was a guarantee. Mm-hmm. Works for the Labor Party. And Yasmin is kind of coaching him through what he should say, how he should approach this meeting with her. And she's like, you should get really personal. You should be personal with this. Mm-hmm. And Henry is like, he doesn't really want to get into all that. He already know he is sad sack. Don't nobody want to hear that shit no more.
Yeah. I was like, let's just keep it business. Like, let's not even get into all that.
Yes. And Yasmin says, you are the company. It's all about you. And then Henry says, I'd be dead without you, which I said was music to Yasmin's ears.
I know. She looks so proud. It's sick. Ooh. Yes is on a list of mine coming up, but
I'm sure she's on several lists. Actually.
She's on several lists. Needs to be on more.
During that conversation, Yasmin names that narrative is important.
Yeah. She wants to talk about the Muck Renaissance and wants him to control the narrative about, I guess, everything that has happened and his addictions and mental health crises, his ideations, everything. And also, I think it's good to note that it's been a month jump. We have a little bit of a time jump here from when we last saw the Mucks after he tries to kill himself to now. So we're talking about his great renaissance over 30 to 45 days.
Exactly. So not renaissance at all.
Not quite the renaissance, but sure, I guess. And yeah, it's like Bevan goes on to say, because while they're meeting with Jennifer Bevan, he's kind of trying to apologize again. And she's like, look, I got your letter. You've already apologized. Let's move on beyond this. What's going on with the bank? Like, let's keep it business. Let's just keep it about that. Like, I'm not really trying to hear you play the game. And in response, I think Henry does have, if he has one talent, he does have the gift of gab. When he's
Yeah.
feeling himself and he's feeling confident in himself, he really can show, like, he can sell things. He's a great salesman. And I think he does win over Bevan in that moment. But oddly, his keeper, Yasmin, is, standing in the background smiling, being all strange about it.
This is why I have been so bearish on Yasmin in this new First Lady role, because she doesn't know what she's doing. I think Henry, of the two of them, like we've said before, he's born into this world. Like, he knows how to do the schmoozing at a level that Yasmin just doesn't quite have. Also because he's a man, he's not dealing with the same types of gender dynamics that Yasmin has had to navigate. And I think Yasmin approaches a lot of social situations or negotiations that she's trying to do, as we see in this episode. She's approaching them from this place of using her womanness to her advantage. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. But when you're in this context, in this setting where aristocracy matters, power matters, institutional power, all these things that we have named before, that's not going to cut it.
That's not going to cut it. It's about having, again, controlling the narrative about the business, about the story about the business, not about you and your body and what you can do for someone and all this and that. What is the business? And that, like you're saying, that's never in her foreview.
No.
That's never there.
The problem that they're trying to solve for is Tinder, by becoming a licensed bank in Europe, will essentially it'll violate antitrust laws and basically create a monopoly. And obviously the British government is saying that's going to squash competition. Their argument that we'll hear later is that it will actually encourage competition, which we know is not true, because they just said they want to kill the competition.
Right.
And so Henry says, let Tinder help you help the government.
Yeah.
I said that's a politician speaking.
Yeah. He's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
That was an okay muck scene.
Yeah, at the end, the beginning started off shaky and bad. It started bad, but they got better. Okay, then we move on. Next scene. We're at the investor brunch of Stern Town. Everyone that they have around the table, their different family offices, and what Harper called dumb money.
Yes. High net worth individuals.
High net worth individuals. People that just got some money that they want. If they want to throw into something, let's see what you got to say. I can give you a couple million. Apparently a lot of million, like 80 to 90 million is what we're playing with. And Harper has on some of the biggest shoulder pads that have seen television since the 1970s, 1980s.
Fab.
Easy. Fab. I wrote, the bigger the shoulder pads, the bigger the ambition. And our girl Harper tries her best to sell her shorts only idea.
Yeah.
What did you think of them? What do you think of the investors' thoughts?
I think, the investors were very bearish on Stern Town. They were not sold at all. And if I had a little black girl in front of me talking about give me $100 million, and I promise you I will put it into the worst stock you've ever seen, but don't worry.
Don't worry.
I'm gonna triple your return.
I'm smart, I promise.
Yeah, I would have that same reaction as that woman who said, I saw a girl who petulantly dated her fund. I would have no kind of faith in them. But I do think it's that classic Eric Harper dynamic of Eric has the solid business acumen. He's been in the business for forever. He knows these people. If he doesn't know these people specifically, he knows their fund. He knows how it works. He knows what makes investors tick. And Harper has like the fearlessness that I think was probably what Eric used early on with his smarts. So it's a really good balance. Exactly. Along the way. Now he's definitely more of a father than anything else, which again we'll see more of how that.
We'll see how that happens.
Eyes got so big when I just said that. She's insatiable when it comes to Stern Towel, but
I love Stern Towel.
I was right with the investors. I'm like, I don't believe this shit for a single second.
But yeah, like you said, like he's trying to show his father figure and also like just a mentor environment by calling her, was it bone deep money maker?
Harper is a bone deep money maker.
A bone deep money maker. She knows where to find things, and like she says, her favorite thing to do is finding dead men walking.
Yes.
And Harper really, I believe in her. And afterwards, they did too a little bit. You know what I mean? They're like, you know what? We'll give this little Black American a chance.
They were curious by the end of the conversation. And I think it was the shoulder pads.
It was the shoulder pads. And it was the Tinder thing, which I thought it was interesting too. She threw it out because the investors were like, okay, so what's this great idea that you have? You're telling us you're going to short things, but what exactly are you shorting? And it's clear that this is said without Eric Tile's knowledge. Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't know she was about to throw that out. So I wrote, like, this might be a little early vision. Like, okay, here you go. Mm-hmm. This is what we've already had problems with you just doing things behind people's back, not doing things in partnership. Mm-hmm. And here comes a immediate riff in front of all these people and their money. And it does have an immediate impact on Eric Tile, too, with what we'll find out is having to put a clause in on money, him having to put up $10 million of his own dollars in his own fund. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. I like that. I think that really shows, like, okay, where is Eric and Harper's relationship heading? All right. Okay, moving on. So now this episode is ping-ponging between the Stern Towel headquarters and folks involved and the Muck's Tinder HQ. We're just going back and forth between them. So now we're back at Tinder headquarters. We're in the boardroom where all the big wigs are talking about what is going on with trying to get this merger happening, who's in the game and who's not. And right now, the Bauer family is not interested in selling without new agreements to selling the bank. Mm-hmm. Mainly their privacy. They had a big issue of privacy. They think that these new fintech groups are too willy-nilly with people's data, and they don't want people's data out there, which is like extremely random thing to after you've already said that you voted in favor of merging, all this and that. So I think that has more to do with who is over Tinder and not so much about what Tinder is about.
And let's back up briefly, because in that Musk Bevin scene where they're kind of talking about why the Labour Party should push this license through and allow them to become a bank, Muck talks about the post-Brexit relationship, and Jennifer Bevin says, we don't talk about Brexit. And I said, MAGA,
we don't talk about Brexit.
No. She told me. But I was talking to her and telling her how, like, the politics in this story, like, in general, the UK is kind of like an election cycle and a half ahead of America. So the things that they are openly litigating and kind of the cultural sentiments, their culture wars and stuff, that had happened before ours in America. And so I think they're just like a little bit farther along in the same issues. But this is exactly this is the TikTok problem too.
Yes. Trying to whether or not we sell to the Chinese. if we sell to the Chinese, they're stealing our data. They're doing this and that.
Our data. They have
but
our
the
data.
People that get TikTok now who end up buying it are literally Nazis. So, I mean, yeah, this is basically what's kind of happening here. But yeah, the Bauer family is causing big issues. And everyone in the Tinder board meeting is trying to figure out, like, okay, do we just ignore them? Do we push forward? That's kind of Whitney's point of view. Whitney, the CEO of Tinder, or not CEO, but like the founder of Tinder, is like, let's just ignore these people. Let's give them their money. Everybody shuts up when money's involved. Let's keep it pushing.
They want to sit down, though.
Yeah. They want to sit down. And Yasmin, for whatever reason, is also in the boardroom and is saying, no, people like him, these type of people, they want FaceTime. Give him some attention. Yeah.
She said, sorry to add my voice here. I said, yeah, you should be sorry.
You should be sorry. And like the man in the room said, I didn't get his name, but he was like,
in what capacity?
What capacity are you doing? And I said, that was my first question too. I said, what is she doing in the room?
And Henry says, well, she's a paid consultant and we need her here.
I think the whole room rolled their eyes. Everyone rolled their eyes. Like, okay.
I thought that line was interesting because I'm like, you didn't talk about any of her skill, what she's consulting on, which consultants love to say, I'm a consultant. And I'm a consultant, and that's what I tell people I do. I don't go any further because you don't need to know that. You just need to know I'm getting paid.
I'm just getting paid.
That's exactly the approach with Yasmin. And I think that stung to Yasmin.
That did sting because I think she wanted him to be like, "Oh, she's my trusted advisor." I don't even know, but advisor, I guess. But it's like
she's a paid consultant. That sounds like sex worker.
Yeah, it is a sex worker. That's what they write in the books. That's what they were doing in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, but to go back to the Bauer family as they're kind of going back and forth and talking about what they're going to do, and Yasmin does make the suggestion, which honestly I thought was an appropriate idea because I mean she was an heiress at one point.
Yeah.
Her family had a lot of notoriety and had a lot of financial control and ability to make big decisions based on their financial standing.
Yeah.
And everyone is kind of like, okay, I guess. And first Whitney says that it's not worth it.
Yeah, he doesn't think it's worth it at all. But it kind of reminds you, like you're saying, it reminds me of how basically what Yasmin did to get Henry on board with Tinder in the first place, right? By constantly having Whitney come to the house, having him seeing him out, coming to his 40th birthday party. Like, she knows how to get through to a narcissist man. Or not even narcissist, but just like a whiny man. Like, just give him some attention. Give him some time. Let him do what he really wants to do. And we'll find what he likes and give it to him. And then he'll do what we want. So, it was a good idea.
I agree. Henry says it was support scaffold for delusions of his own grandeur. And then he says it's the working title for his biographer.
Yeah. Which everyone got a laugh out of. So I'm sure he felt good about himself that he got a chuckle out of everybody.
And as they're going back and forth, this same man who asked Yasmin, why are you here? Says, didn't the Bowers finance the Reich? And Henry says, it's a bit late to be growing a conscience on GDPR issues. I said, really?
Really?
And Ferdinand says they've donated tens of millions of dollars to survivors of the Shoah, which is Hebrew for disaster.
Sure. Everybody just throws money to a problem that they don't
Yeah,
believe in just to keep their pages clean for more money.
yeah. At this point, what are you thinking about Tinder?
At this point, I'm still thinking Tinder doesn't really know what they got going on. I
Uh-uh.
think there's a sort of there's concepts of plans, but there isn't a true plan of what they want. They're just acquiring, and he's just
Mm-hmm.
trying to, it's like Whitney is really trying to force it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still on the outs of what exactly it is. I still feel like we're on the outs of what exactly Tinder is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially without a Jonah figure to reorient us to what they're actually doing, what their actual
Yeah.
mission and purpose was. But as we're kind of flipping through these scenes, this is the episode where all the bullshit we endured in episode 1 and episode 2 is coming together so
Yeah.
we can see kind of everyone's chips on their shoulder in action.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're back in Stern Town headquarters. They're trying to Eric Tow's trying to understand, what is this Tinder push? Where did that come from? We've never talked about that. And here you are telling this to our investors. What is the play? So Harper basically gives him this question, which I assume is the short play, which is, how much does stock reorient if it's proven to be overvalued? So she's trying to say that whatever's going on with the Tinder, from our understanding, from what we're getting from Eric Tao and Thin Digest and like the quips, is that they're the hottest thing out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
And Harper's thesis or whatever is that it is being wildly overvalued and that they have some major skeletons that will shake and drop the whole price of the stock.
Mm-hmm.
So if that happens, will people care? And will they
Yes.
care enough for it to drop the stock? And that's what Eric Tao was like. Will they care at all?
And he gives an anecdote of Herbalife.
Herbalife. I thought this was so funny.
I thought it was funny that we got an Herbalife mention because I was wondering if MLMs would show up in this show.
Oh, interesting.
Because
Yeah.
it's all the same type of like recycling money laundering type thing,
Yeah.
insider trading to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny that he used as the
Yeah.
explanation.
I did too. I was like, oh, I know that. This is the first time I heard something. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
exactly. I am in finance.
this makes sense. We should
This
become
makes sense.
stockbrokers.
That's to work for Goldman or
Yeah.
SoFi.
Yeah. And he's basically like, the story is one thing, but the storyteller is really what's going to be what moves the needle. And he asked Harper,
Right.
how good a storyteller are you, and how long can you sustain the story?
Yeah. And he's also kind of asking, how good is this Jim Diker guy? Why
Yeah.
is he giving you all this information? What does he want from you? Like, he is very stern in that of just like, literally, why is he giving you all this tea? Pre-pub. Like, this is really weird.
And Harper doesn't really answer any of Eric's questions at all this episode.
No, she doesn't. She's really avoidant
Mm-hmm.
on everything. But we do get a good quote in this part where he Eric is sort of explaining like exactly what type of work we're doing. The short work that they're doing is anti-status quo, is anti-establishment and anti-power. And then Harper takes a beat and says, which part of that is meant to be a problem for us? I do love that because they are, to a certain extent, all of that except for anti-power. Because that's all that Harper wants, really. A seat at
Yeah,
the table.
I love that I love that quote, but I'm also like, Harper, all of that is a problem for you, baby.
All of it.
All of that is
That's why you're
you.
not with Moisten, and that's why you're not with
Yes.
like.
I understand, even though Harper is claiming to want to be anti-establishment, you were part of like one of the biggest banks in London, and you
Right.
went then to work for another aristocrat who had
Right.
his own fund. So I'm just like, I hear Harper, I hear what she's saying. I'm not believing what she's
I
saying.
don't believe what she says either. And like you're saying, even with what she's saying, I saw a tweet about this. People were saying like even in their conversation with each other, they're using British terms and slang and
They're
things of that
so
nature.
bought into
You're
this
you're into the
thing. Yeah.
establishment. Yeah, you are the establishment at this point, right? Like all the people that you're reaching out for.
Eric for sure is the establishment. Like you were a
Yeah.
fixture. You were supposed to be like the transition team for this new bank to take over Pure Point. That's how much
Yeah.
institutional knowledge you had.
Yeah, you are the institution. He even said it himself in season 3. I am the I'm nothing without the institution.
Exactly. So
So,
I'm like, who are y'all trying to fool? This
what
is
are y'all
why.
talking about?
Now you see. Now you see. This is why I'm
Oh
so
God.
bearish on. They're literally the
Oh
most
God.
volatile, and I'm bearish for a reason. But
Oh gosh,
we'll get
the
back
more
to
we
Star
talk about
Town.
it, the more we talk about it.
You're like,
Okay.
damn,
Uh,
I bet against the market.
uh
Sure did.
my bet's on red right now, but okay. So now we're back again. We're ping ponging. We're
Mm-hmm.
back at Tinder headquarters. They're trying to get out the door because they've decided on a whim, I guess, that they actually are going to go to Vienna and talk to the Austrians, the Bowers, about giving them some FaceTime to sell to them properly.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that there's been some questions, pre-publishing questions from Fin Digest, specifically from Jim Diker, about possible misrepresentations that are happening within Tinder's profile. Harry Muck has no idea what's going on, right? He's just a face.
This is where we find out what's happening in Africa.
Yeah, because it seems weird, and it was.
Yes. So he doesn't know what's happening, like you just said, and he essentially describes money laundering in Ghana.
Yeah.
And he's like, are we money laundering, or are we just not aware of what's going on and it looks like money laundering? And I'm like, if it looks like money laundering, if it sounds like money laundering, if it smells like money laundering, Henry, it's money laundering.
And Whitney's really just like, no, man, like, come on, like, why would we do that? Like, that is just, what are you talking about?
I've never even been to Africa.
Right. Where is it? Like, he's really trying to just blow it all off. Everybody's trying to be like, all the different execs are just trying to calm Henry down, because Henry is kind of like, whoa, like, y'all didn't tell me about none of this. Like, what is this? And everybody's giving him their point of view of like, how should we respond to it? We shouldn't respond to it. We this. And while they're all asking him or telling him what they should do, he stops and asks Yasmin, what do you think?
And she says, I don't have the expertise.
Oh, she's losing her steam. I think she lost her steam and her confidence. I thought that truck was going.
This is why. So as they're trying to reassure Henry, like, oh, this happens all the time. We get pre-publishing questions. Whitney says we're not going to give this guy any oxygen. That there's probably an amateur short seller that's feeding him information, and they've done some research that it's just kind of based on trends. It's not based on any real data. And Ferdinand confirms, and it's like this happens in the wealth management space all the time. And Yasmin just came from wealth management.
Exactly. And also, does he have a beat on Harper?
So this is where I wrote down that Whitney doesn't know Harper is the amateur short seller.
Okay. You don't think he knows it's her?
I don't think he knows. I think it's too. He's gonna find out, but I don't think right now he knows. Okay. And I think that to me, because remember the last few weeks I've been like, does Harper know that he knows? Does he know that Harper knows? What is Harper's play? How has she been interacting with him? I think that has worked to her advantage, but I think he will become very suspicious of her quickly.
Yeah, I see that happening too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, to say they asked for her view, she lost her esteem and confidence, and Whitney's basically like, the story ends where we say it ends. Like, we're gonna put a pin in it. We're gonna let legal figure it out. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's our decision. And they go off to go to Vienna, but here comes Hayley in the background asking for a quick word with Yasmin before they leave and go do a side room. And Hayley confesses to her that here was our conversation in episode 1 between us. Whether or not we got clarity that she nearly had sex with a journalist that was asking her all these questions, and I think she's like, I think this is the same guy. Not honestly, she never asked like, what should I do or anything like that. She's just like, hey, this happened.
So Yasmin doesn't really have a concept of workplace dynamics.
No.
Because I read this as Hayley was telling her this because she doesn't want to get in trouble with her job.
Yeah.
Yasmin was reading this as she needed to be saved from something. I don't think Yasmin was thinking about the implications because so first she asked Hayley, did he force himself on you? And Hayley says, well, no, not really. Like, I passed out. I don't remember anything. I was clothed. Nothing happened. And then she says, well, did you fuck him? And Hayley's kind of like, and then Yasmin immediately says, did you answer any of his questions? So I think she starts to pick up, like, we're worried about two different things. But she does say, I hate when men try to take something that isn't theirs. Yeah. And they had a weird smile exchange when that happened.
And this is what I was wondering there. Like, so y'all have history. Like, there's some type of, I don't think the first time was the first time. I think there was something. I don't. I think because there's too many like soft smiles that are suggestive of something more. That's where I was getting. When I saw that the first time, I said, weird. In my notes, I said that was weird.
I think after that interaction at the castle, that it's been probably some banter around the office, but I don't think anything happened until it happened.
Okay. We shall see.
That's my story. I've been wrong once. I might be wrong again. We shall
see, because that
I can see where you're coming from though with that. That was overly.
Yeah, even that was overly. Yeah, even for them to even get to that point, like at what point did she also become Henry Muck's EA?
Yeah, after she discloses this, Yasmin says, and they have this weird smile or whatever. Yasmin says, "I won't tell anyone," and Yasmin tries to give her the night off. She tells her, go out in the city, enjoy, go see some stuff. You've been working really hard. And Hayley's like, oh, thanks, but I'm Whitney and Henry's EA, so I would need to hear it from either of them.
I know, that's right. But even that seems like a chuckle, like a shoulder nudge almost.
Like, you're not in charge of me, essentially. Yeah. And I picked up on that later. that
Yeah.
Yasmin was trying to show her, bitch, I am in charge.
I am in charge. Yeah. All right, let's go back to Stern Town. This is exhausting. Let's get back to Stern Town.
At Stern Town HQ, we see all of Eric's daughters in the building.
And two of the three.
Two out of three daughters are there. We see Eric's now pretty grown, as Harper noted, daughter walk into their office space, and Harper's like, "Oh shit! Like, yeah, this is you." And she says, are you? Which one are you?" After this twin greets her, saying,
"Are you her?" Like, really harsh. I thought it was somebody's lady, a friend or something. You know what I mean? I did not expect to see.
She had a school uniform.
But before that, they didn't show. We just see her walk in and the person say it. We don't see her, the child. I said, now who is this? Who got into Stern Town headquarters?
Eric brought his black girlfriend.
Concubines.
And Harper says you're much older than what I was thinking you were. And Lily says you shouldn't really be thinking about me at all.
Gagged her really quick.
Real quick. So Eric comes in and the daughter is just staring at Harper. We obviously see there's some tension. This makes me wonder how much of the divorce was Harper's fault.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, it seems like every single issue that this person has had in their lives is happening because of this one girl that keeps popping up and getting you fired over and over for the last decade. Mm-hmm. So, and then he was having all those affairs, like, and also he talked to her crazy anyway. So,
I wondered what the message was sent. Yeah, what the mom said to her. Like, she seems like she was on her mom's side in the divorce.
Yeah, it seems like, too, we'll probably see more of the girls. Like, this feels like it's going to get bigger because Are You Her? Is like, oh, we know about Harper Jean. Like, we've heard. And this is it? This little black girl? This 4'8" black girl?
This is what you threw your family away for?
This is why we've been in Prague in boarding school with no family.
And when Eric walks in, he looks like he's been caught.
Yeah.
He's very uncomfortable. He doesn't.
Yeah, I said, why is Eric being so weird?
Yeah. It's odd. And so Lily is leaving, and as she's leaving, Eric pays her. And it's like, tell your mom you enjoyed yourself. And she gives him an awkward hug, which I thought that was
odd.
It was hard to watch. I do think she was trying to establish dominance in front of Harper. Yeah. Because I do get the sense that she feels as if Harper has stolen her dad. Fair. And to a certain degree, she has. Yeah. And this girl's a teenager, so she doesn't really know what's going on.
No. And you're just angsty at your parents anyway.
Don't we know it? Don't we fucking know it?
Don't we know? I too was a teen once.
Yeah, I have once been a teen. And I think Eric is kind of embarrassed that he has to be a father at work.
Yeah, the worlds are colliding too much for him.
Mm-hmm. It's too intimate, like Harper said.
It's way too intimate, yeah. They shouldn't be living and working in the same space. That's actually really crazy.
Yeah. Eric sends Lily off. She closes the door, and he turns around. Basically, like when you turn around, you slide down the wall. And he says, having a twin who's better at stuff like sports and socializing fosters a bloody resentment of the world. And Harper said, who knew?
Who knew?
And Eric said, you have siblings? I said, oh, baby.
God, it's been 10 years. Y'all don't know nothing about each other.
I think Harper was really starting to feel triggered, if you will.
Yeah.
This man who she felt so close to, literally felt like a father to her, has seen her at some of her lowest times, has provided for her, has mentored her, like you said, doesn't even know that she has a twin. And she went through that whole episode of tracking him down and finding him and going to him and getting rejected by
meth
him.
With him.
Smoking crack with this man. And Eric can't even be bothered to even know that he exists.
Right.
So then we find out that she struck a deal with Kenny, our old pal. He's at Deutsche.
Yep. He was at Goldman and now is at Deutsche.
Yeah. And Eric says, I don't know if he will feel comfortable working with me after I had him fired with a hangover.
Right.
And Harper says, well, he's at Deutsche, so it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. Who cares what you think? It's about business. Let's keep it business. Like,
yes,
stop all this emotional banter.
And Eric says, well, I hope he didn't fall off the wagon. I wrote in my notes that Kenny is at Deutsche, but at least he's employed. Catch it, Rishi.
Catch it. And, oh my gosh, yeah, let's get right into that. So
Harper's 3 p.m. Harper's a 3 p.m. meeting.
And it's our sweet Sweetpea Go Lightly. She's back. She's still at Moistens. They talk about the environment there that's very misogynistic. It's not woke anymore. Woke is dead in the Moisten office.
Yeah.
You can tell her and Harper have a good relationship. Sweetpea sort of kind of talks down on herself for a second. Thinking about the sirens, basically saying like she doesn't really have anywhere else to go because of all the siren stuff that's out on her. And Harper really like kills that. Like, no, you don't. Like, don't say that. It's whoever fault that was. Like, that's not your story. That's not what you're about.
Yeah. Harper says, how's Mostyn's? And Sweetpea says the misogyny swings between patronizing and lecherous. And she was saying that she feels kind of like, and Harper jumps in and says, a cherry pie in a windowsill. That basically these men are running around and hitting themselves over the head with bats, and you're just kind of sitting there like a fixture to be looked at. And Sweetpea says, well, it's my own fault. And Harper snaps her out of that. She says, no, ma'am, no, it's not. And I wrote that Harper defends her girls.
Yeah.
She really
does.
Especially if she thinks they've been wronged. I don't think that she blindly defended Yasmin, but definitely in situations where she felt like Yasmin was being wronged, she defended Yasmin.
Yeah, like when she killed her father.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we get the confirmation that Sweetpea's siren has been leaked. It has been sent out, and so people just know who she is, have seen her, and are
she's unmasked, essentially.
Yes, she's been unmasked. But she's done some research.
She's doing some good research. She's finding out that Tinder's been doing some illegal payment stuff. They're saying that they were done with all the gambling and porn and all that was propping up a nice percentage of their payment processing plans. They told everybody that they were done with that. We saw earlier this season with them cutting off Captain Cream Pies and all of them. And come to find out, saying, I'm sorry. Forgive me, veterans. If you're listening, Colonel, not Captain. I know we take that very serious around here. We support our troops. But we find out there's all these illegal payments happening. And they're running out of where, of course, Africa, out of Kenya. So we're finding out that's what this play's about. Sweetpea's done some really great detective work. And what exactly were these acquisitions called? I wrote it EMEA. Do you know exactly what the stood for?
Okay, EMEA is Europe, the Middle East, and Africa.
So that's where those acquisitions were coming from. And so it's like, what are they? They shouldn't be doing this.
As Sweetpea names that she's seeing all these acquisitions and transactions, she starts seeing these payment ledgers that have euphemisms for services. So emotional content is porn, and gaming is gambling. So they're essentially, the payments are being coded differently so that they're not being flagged and they're able to be flown under the radar. This is a problem because Tinder's whole model is now based on not using these illicit forms of entertainment to be able to keep their company afloat. And they've actually said, as part of their them going public and becoming a public business, that they would no longer use those types of illicit measures to be making money.
Exactly.
And Sweetpea has noticed that in the modeling, that even though they've moved away from it, there's still a considerable amount of money that's unaccounted for, and she finds these euphemisms out.
Yes. Yeah. That's the whole reason. I would say that's the whole reason too they were able to get Bevan on their side.
Exactly.
Right? Because saying like, hey, we love your play, we love the build that you came out with, like that is exactly why we're on your side, and we've rid that from our system. But come to find out, they're just cheating the system.
Yeah, and so Harper is like, well, why isn't the market reflecting this kind of whole? If anything is wrong with any sort of research or anything that's coming out isn't quite matching up with the business model, that tends to make the market turn against this stock. But right now, everybody is buying this stock and they think that it's going to do really well. And Sweetpea is saying that it's just because of groupthink. There's not really anything substantial there, that these payments are coming from something illicit. She's figured it out. She just can't. Again, going back to the storytelling thing that Eric mentioned, there's not enough there to really move the needle, coming from especially a girl now whose siren just got leaked.
Right.
So Eric walks in on this, and he's hearing this story, and I think he's kind of like, he's listening, he's kind of falling in line, but he hasn't fully gotten on Harper's side, which is pissing Harper off. And he says even a basket case could run if enough influence wanted it to. Talking about the Labor Party seats, which...
Yeah, we're seeing it here in our country today.
And
Tell the right story.
And he says... and Sweetpea says nobody wants to stand in front of a moving train, and Eric responds and essentially says they do when it's full of money.
Yeah.
And as that's happening, enter Rishi.
Here comes Rishi, and from the moment Sweetpea sees his figure in the doorway, she is pissed. She's scared.
She's scared too.
Yeah, like what do you think? She calls him a murderer.
She calls him a murderer. What I can surmise, so Sweetpea is chronically online, and I wrote down, Reddit thinks Rishi killed his wife.
Yeah.
He can't tell them he's been caught by the mob in Britain and that he has significant gambling debt. I'm sure what happened was he called the police after his wife had been shot in the head, and there was overwhelming evidence that he would have been the one to shoot her in the head.
Yeah. But it's almost like,
the internet is.
Again, if we're talking about storytelling, it's an easier story to say that the mob is after you than to say that you killed your wife. Like, I don't know. Like, I would just have to let everyone know. Everyone has to know that this was not me. Because the way Sweetpea was like, he's a freak. I thought it might have something to do with the siren stuff. Like, was he the one to leak Sweetpea's information? I don't think he would go that far, but she was like pissed for him to be in the same space as her.
She also explicitly called him a fucking murderer. And that she said she read all of the disgusting details online. So that's what makes me think she just went down a Reddit. One of my coworkers today said rat hole. She went down a Reddit rat hole and read all of these fan theories, essentially. Because we know Reddit has come up on the show. We've overheard it, Peerpoint, before. They've used Reddit to figure out what's going on with stocks and stuff. So it's not out of the ordinary for Sweetpea to have come across that online. I do think that she could think that Rishi has something to do with her siren leak because of that. But I think first and foremost, him being a murderer is like why she's And I get what you're saying, but even with, thinking about kind of the race thing of it all, like, Rishi is probably not a man that would be trusted at large in Britain. So even if he does say, I didn't do it, like...
Yeah, okay. What does that have to do with anything? Right, yeah, what does that have to do with the price?
We don't believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that have to do with the price of Casamigos in Atlanta?
Nothing. Or everything. So I think we should talk about Vienna all in one.
Yeah, we can talk about Vienna. Okay, so we're in Vienna. I thought we were in Germany because they were speaking German, but whatever. We're in Austria.
Well, great point, Ashton. You got to remember what happened in World War II. They speak German for a reason there. That's what Trump was saying at the talk this past week. He said, we'll all be speaking German. The Swedes like, that's what we speak now, but whatever.
Not me being Donald Trump. Y'all speak German?
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
But, so we meet the Moritz family, and they are uppity.
They're
the Moritz bond. Yeah, they're royals, in whatever sense that is in Vienna. I don't know anything about the Austrian royals.
The Bauers are royals. Moritz's mom is a princess, as he introduces her. Is an alleged princess. And this made me think of Epstein Island.
Interesting. Why?
Because Epstein Island had a lot of random royals from Europe and a lot of random European families that were partaking. So, and we will get to Miss Yasmin Maxwell
shortly.
But this definitely made me think about
Epstein Island.
Yeah. So they get this FaceTime with the family, and as they're being introduced, so Moritz introduces himself and introduces his mother as the princess. And Ferdinand introduces Yasmin as Henry's wife, not as a paid consultant, as Henry's wife, and introduces Henry as the CEO. Does not mention Whitney at all.
At all. He doesn't even try to shake his hand.
No. And as he introduces Yasmin jumps in and says, I also do comms consulting. And I'm like, okay. Me too, Yasmin. I said that these
just saying anything.
Right. I said that these were very weird greetings. Because right after that, Moritz says that he and Henry probably had some mutual friends at Winchester, which we presume to be a boarding school.
British boarding school.
In the UK, which British boarding schools in the UK are a whole thing. We're not going into that because we're not white boys from Britain, so we don't care.
And we don't know their culture.
Their culture is not our costume.
Not our costume. We are not getting into that.
And Moritz ends up saying, for every genuine homosexual, 9 are created by British boarding schools.
Interesting. I feel like we're going to get to that next episode, but...
And Whitney is looking on with kind of, he's hesitant for sure.
Yeah.
And Moritz
I think he's pretty irritated too.
He's irritated too because he hasn't been acknowledged. He's not being included in this meeting. It's pretty much a conversation between Henry and Moritz and occasionally Ferdinand, the board chair.
Yeah.
And Moritz starts to kind of let his fascism fly. He says that one of the depredations of neoliberal late capitalism is there's no central authority to appeal to. And he kind of is like starting to let on that he thinks the West has completely failed.
Yeah.
And that Western companies are a fucking joke.
Yeah.
And Whitney jumps in and is like, well, we just don't want you to be unhappy. Like, that's the last thing we want to happen. Whitney's trying to be a salesman. He's trying to get this business meeting back on track.
Right.
And Moritz pretty much cuts him off and is like, well, happiness is a full stomach, so let's eat. Basically, I'm not talking business with you.
Yeah.
So
and also,
eat.
let's talk business over food. We're not talking business in the foyer. That's also kind of like, you don't understand how the rules work here.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is banter right now. We talk business at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Again, putting him in his place.
Mm-hmm. So they are whisked away and shown to their rooms, and we get Princess Johanna and Yasmin in Princess's favorite room.
Her favorite room. There we get the name of the episode, which is
Take
our
a shot.
Host. Go ahead, our host.
We have Habseligkeiten, and she says the room is full of their Habseligkeiten. And she said, literally translated, that's possessions that are closest to your soul. And Yasmin is trying to. She asked Yasmin, is she familiar with the word? Does she know that word? And Yasmin responds to her in German, saying that her German only goes so far, showing that she can like speak and understand it, but that she doesn't know all of the vocab. And Johanna quickly responds to her in English and explains to her, you know, what it is and what it's used for, and that this room is full of that, and that's why it's her favorite room in the house. Yasmin again tries to converse with her in German, telling her how beautiful the room is. Yasmin's trying to charm this woman. She thinks that she's going to be able to really
win her
she
over.
thinks she's going to be able to pull the woman card and win her over. They're going to be girls.
Yeah.
And Johanna is like, girl,
no.
Not into it.
You are not purebred. No.
So eventually Yasmin is like, you know, danke, like thank you. And she's like, and leaves.
Right. So then we go, our next scene is at the dinner table, and the boys are talking politics. And Moritz is really just serving it up. He's serving the fascism up on a platter, pun intended. And he's saying that his favorite politician is Louis the 14th, which is
the Sun
the infamous Louis the 14th. Who goes too close to the sun.
The whole table reacts exactly like that and busts out laughing.
Yeah. Like, whose favorite politician is that ever? No one has ever said that. Like, what are you talking about? He talks about that Western liberalism is failed. It's just on and on again, just really showing what his beliefs are. He's very passionate in his fascism and his Nazisms, in his authoritarianism. Yeah.
Can we note here that Yasmin is sitting between two men? Neither of them are her husband. And I thought that was interesting because I know in formal settings like that, where you're sitting really does matter. And she is across from her husband. But I would think that they would be sitting together. But I feel like Yasmin placed herself between Moritz and I think Ferdinand was on the other side of her.
Ferdinand, yeah.
Yeah, she placed herself between these two men, unconnected to her. I think she's really trying to embody power broker.
Yeah, that she should be at the table. Not just as a wife, but as like someone with influence.
Yeah.
Which she really wants to have.
Yeah. And as they're having this kind of back and forth, this political banter, Morris's mom is serving them. She's the princess, but she's serving wine and water and walking around the table. And Yasmin stops her and is like, Johanna, we can't have you serving. And she says it's an absolute privilege, which I was like, okay,
confused
this is
about.
I think this was another social flex. Like, even though she is the princess, which Moritz does eventually get to, she follows tradition. She's with the traditional roles. This is what a woman should be doing in a social setting like this. Like, this is my role. She's very sure of her role.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's picking up that Yasmin is unsure of her role.
Yeah. Which is true. I mean, it's very clear, even by doing, like you're saying, sitting between those two instead of sitting next to your husband. It's like, you are just all out of line. You're doing too much. And you're not following, well, again, like you're saying, you're not following the tradition. You're not following what, in their eyes, should be the role of women in this space.
Yeah, exactly. And Yasmin did her homework in this scene. She tells Moritz that she read his Substack. Because Yasmin loves to try to connect, but she doesn't really take into account what she's connecting on.
Yeah. Yeah. She doesn't critically think at all. It's just really surface level. It's like, oh, he writes, and I know a newspaper editor. Oh my gosh, this is perfect.
Yes. So she reads his Substack, which is on fragmentation. And essentially, Moritz says that successful corporations in America are dictatorships. They act like they're a collectivist enterprise, but they're not democracies. And Whitney kind of pushes back on it, and he's like, I'm just saying they're not democracies. But then he goes on to say that my politics and my business are one and the same, in that I have respect for tradition. And he then goes on to say that this merger is a threat to their customers' privacy. He doesn't really appreciate how this deal is being handled. And Henry says, we respect the past, but we will drag Ivy and Bauer into the future.
Yeah. Just like, whoa.
Morris didn't like that. And he threatens to re-engage the Austrian regulator. He essentially says he's not going to sign off on shit, if that's the case. And after he says he's not going to engage the regulator, Whitney chimes in and says, this will be a very lucrative partnership if you sell. And Morris is like, always about the money with you, Mr. Haberstrom, and says it.
Yeah, emphasizes the Jewishness of his name. Racist, Nazi.
What's the dog whistle sound? Literally dog whistle. And Morris is doing this in front of his mama.
Right.
I think at that point she realized it was too far. He went a little too below the belt for a post-Reich society. And she says, this is not the time to be talking about this. Ferdinand says, I hate that everything comes back to politics. And Morris's mom says, me too, so let's just eat. And I wrote that his mom doesn't necessarily disagree, but she is more interested, again, in these social graces and how you carry yourself in these settings.
Right.
And it doesn't look good for him to be coming out the gate with some racist ass shit.
To the founder.
To the founder at that.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, they want his money. They want what is about to become of this. Like, regardless, she wants that. Like, they're in an aging castle. Mm-hmm. And you living with your mama in it.
Exactly. Mind you. So then we flip to the Tinder C-suite is having a quick smoke break in the stairwell, and Yasmin says, it's Yasmin, Henry, and Whitney, and Yasmin says, be practical. You have to be practical with this man. And Henry says he's a fucking fascist.
Yeah. Henry's the only one that really got some sense. Well, Henry and Whitney.
I literally wrote that. I said that's so crazy that Henry is the one that has the most sense of this group. And I also wrote, it's interesting watching Yasmin trying to play by these rules of social engagement. I feel like every time she picks up on an interaction, she takes away one more thing she should do in a social setting. And she's still trying to, like, make
find
all
her
of that
place
work.
in it.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, make it more second nature to her. But Henry is uninterested because, again, he's a fucking fascist. And he says, you know, what about that thinly veiled anti-Semitism that just happened in there? Like, is that practical to you? And Yasmin says that's not what it is. And Whitney jumps in and says, for someone with the last name Hanani, you seem pretty relaxed. I agree.
It's because she clearly doesn't have a clue.
No.
She really has no idea. It's sad.
No. And I kind of can't feel bad for her because whatever.
You should know. Like, you actually have had all the access. Like I wrote, she knows 7 languages and doesn't have any sense. You can communicate everything, but you cannot reason. It doesn't hit your brain correctly.
Yes, but trauma will do that to the brain.
I guess. I don't know about that, sister.
I'm not saying
it make you lose sense like that.
I'm not saying she's right. I'm just saying there is a naivete that is like attached. She can't shake it because she's so stunted.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. But yeah, Henry's like, fuck this. But then comes around to Yasmin and Whitney essentially says, you're lucky your wife's such a pragmatist. Yeah. I think that's going to come back up later.
I think so too. I think he's had enough. Whatever that is, we don't need her voice. Yeah.
Then we get to the craziest fucking scene of this episode.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like of industry as a whole.
No. Rishi's White Mischief was crazier to me.
Why wish it? It wasn't this crazy. This was crazy.
This was okay. Before we get into this, this was crazy, but this was not too far off from what we have seen. Oh no, the early Rob scenes were crazy to me. When Rob nutted on the mirror and then licked it off, I was like, oh.
You know what? That really wasn't even that crazy to me.
Yeah. So you see, we're the yin and yang. Because I'm like, her watching them have sex is not that crazy to me. But what she did afterwards was like, girl.
What she did afterwards, I think, sort of just like the power struggles of it. Like, sure, it's fun and cute when it's Rob. Like, that's your equal.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on because to a certain extent, she's Henry's caretaker too.
She said she identifies herself as Henry's caretaker, and she kind of thinks of herself as Hayley's boss, even though Hayley makes it clear I'm Henry's. She's not.
Yeah, but there's like you're saying, like there's still like a weird power dynamic for both of them. That makes me wildly like all last episode. I'm hearing you talk about Henry that he's your son. You see, like you need to get up. I'm mothering you. You're a baby. Da 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 da. And now you're ordering him to do what? And he also doesn't. I am a person of. I need to hear some enthusiastic yeses. And there was actually no enthusiastic yes. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Well, there was an enthusiastic yes from
Hayley's side.
There was not one from Henry. So in this scene, Hayley pops up at their door late at night and is saying that Whitney wanted her to deliver some rebuttals for this Fin Digest statement that they're trying to put together just in case the article drops. And Yasmin says you could have emailed them.
Right. Because why is she printing off stuff to take to them in a castle?
In a castle. And Hayley was like, well, yeah, I could have. And Yasmin says, do I smell martinis on your breath? I said, oh, hell.
Here we go. I honestly thought this was a dream sequence. How it started, I was like, this is so porn coded.
And it was odd. It was definitely off. Which I'm like, it's amazing to me the cues Yasmin can read. The only shit Yasmin knows about is sex.
It's sex. Yep, I have that in my notes.
This is how she connects, like you said. But this is where the Calabasas nickname is birthed. So Yasmin is basically like, honey, look, this girl tried to come have sex with us. She wanted to see if the door was open, if the light was on, if the pineapple was upside down on the door. And Henry is like, let's not assume that.
Yeah.
Let's not.
Like, what are you doing? He literally said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. And Yasmin's like, no, I know I'm right, aren't I, Hayley? And Hayley is like, well,
yeah, I mean, sure. Also, let's be clear, setting the scene. If you guys aren't watching the show, he doesn't have anything. If you're not
watching the show and you're listening to this, you're fucking crazy.
You're crazy, but we want you around, so stay around, please.
Keep listening. We'll keep doing this for free.
But yeah, he doesn't have on a shirt. He's just in his towel, like he's out of the shower, fresh out the shower type of beat. Mm-hmm. And you're being super suggestive. He's just kind of like, oh my gosh, let me cover myself up. Mm-hmm. He even says to her, yes, you're all I need. Like, stop doing this. Let's not do this. Ugh. Mm-hmm. Henry Buck is being taken advantage of. I don't like it.
He is. And I wrote Henry not down. Yasmin said, Hayley is very frustrated. And she says, I want this for you. And I said, this is by force again. She pulls the same move she pulled in the bathtub and goes to work.
Yep.
And I wrote WTF because you can surmise what happened next.
Yeah. I said, is this a dream sequence? I said, oh, it is. And I said, whoa, it's not.
It's not. I wrote whoa as well.
Well, I put whoa question mark. I also put, I want this for you question marks. I didn't get that. Like, what are you saying? Like, has there been a conversation about this before? Is there like some private conversations that we're not privy to that has happened after the night at her house? Mm-hmm. Like when they were on Muck Manor? Like, where did this come from?
I was curious. So as Hayley and Henry are doing the do, Yasmin is kind of controlling the traffic from the side of the room. She's smoking a cigarette. Yeah. She's telling them what to do. You know, whatever. That's your bedroom. That's your married bedroom.
Yeah, she's in her cuck chair, spectating and setting the rules.
She's a spectator and a caretaker, like she said. Yeah. But I was wondering if that was her trying to invoke the infidelity clause in their prenup.
Interesting.
I said, or is she trying to distract from having a child? Because we see them finish.
Yeah.
And he finished inside of her.
Yeah, inside of Hayley.
And we know that because Yasmin walks up to Hayley and tells her, you have something that belongs to my husband and therefore to me.
Yeah. And we have a very cute directorial scene of her bending down, and then the next scene is her slurping an oyster for breakfast, which is also odd, but yeah. I said
sucking down an oyster.
I said gross. What did oysters ever have to do about this? You know what I mean? I said, what
did oysters do to you?
What did oysters do to you? That was so nasty. and Yasmin will be dealt with. I don't know what that was
Yeah.
about.
I wrote
I
this
didn't like that
scene.
at all.
I wrote that Yasmin has read Steve Harvey's seminal text, "Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man."
Exactly.
I also
God.
thought it was interesting about this idea of like sex for power versus sex for desire. Like,
Yeah.
Henry is really, I do think it's like power sometimes, but I think right now it's more of like out of desire. I don't think he wanted to with Hayley necessarily, but he didn't want to upset the balance with Yasmin.
Yeah, or disappoint Yasmin.
Or disappoint Yasmin, because he has disappointed her, and so now he's in a phase of like kind of doing whatever she says and like letting her do what she wants. Yeah. But I also thought about the contrast between how Harper treats her employees and how Yasmin treats her employees.
Yeah. And like also like we were saying too, just not even that relationship, but also how Henry treats his employees. We talked about this some last week, and it's just like Henry does not want that relationship. It seems like with Hayley, he looks very disgusted the whole time, and I really hate that for him. But I was so hard on Henry Muck last episode, and here we are.
You feeling sorry for him? Exactly.
He's
That's
a victim.
Exactly the plan.
He's a victim. He's a victim. Like, oh my God.
You can be a victim that we don't like, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's, complex.
So, Yasmin is slurping down oysters with Princess Johanna. And burping.
Yeah.
I'm like, you nasty ass bitch. What the fuck?
Why is he burping it up like that? Burping up cum. It's nasty. She's just so nasty
just
in this
salty
episode.
Shit, salty, slimy shit all in her mouth.
She's just nasty. Ugh.
So the ladies who lunch, really breakfast, it's just Yasmin and Johanna, and she said the men have scattered in the wind. They've abandoned you with me. I'm like, damn.
God.
At all.
Right. And also just showing because they off for business, and here you are with me doing the womanly things. Like, this is your role. Reaffirming your place. This is your place.
And she says, help me with the dogs. And Yasmin's like, okay. So they go on this walk. Yasmin looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
And she's walking the dogs, and on the walk, Johanna is essentially saying, Morris's name is just on the bank as an honorific. He knows it doesn't mean much, but essentially he's just trying to hold on to power. He's trying to keep what he feels is left of his legacy. And she says that Morris just craves attention and that he doesn't want to be defined by his family name only. Which is interesting because it's like you're not really doing anything counter to your family name, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like all other men this age, they just want their own legacy.
They want something big. Exactly. They want something big. They want their names to mean something. It's just like, you're boring Nazi groper. Like,
yeah.
That's it.
And so Yasmin offers him a column in Alexander Norton's newspaper, Henry's Uncle, the legacy media that we just said doesn't really have a hold anymore. And Yasmin admits that it's still legacy media. There's still some sort of influence that's there. And Johanna is like, that's great. That would be great. That's a great idea. He would love to just have his thoughts heard in a legitimate space. And as she's doing it, I think Yasmin realizes that she's winning the favor that she once wanted, but also she's giving this fascist a platform. A huge one at that.
Huge platform. legacy newspaper. This is like the equivalent of it being in what, like the Post or the Times, like, which is basically what's happening now.
Mm-hmm. And his mom, the mom advocating for these grown sons.
Yeah.
But she says, the general direction of his thinking is undergirded by common sense. Wouldn't you say? And Yasmin goes to respond and burps again.
Oh.
This nasty bitch.
She's like, oh, and
and so she just says, you know what? Yeah, actually, like, sure. Which I'm like, ew, Yasmin, girl.
I mean, she can't even like really think about anything because she's just so nasty. She's so filled with stuff. She's just agreeing with anything because she's also so embarrassed that it's like she doesn't even get a chance to think about what exactly the mom is saying.
No principles. So then they're done on this dog walk. They're finally leaving because they have to get to this meeting with the regulator. And Yasmin is looking around at Princess Johanna's favorite room one more time, and she zeroes in on this artwork of this castle kind of crumbling down a hill.
Right.
And she's looking, and she's kind of admiring, and she gets a little bit closer so that she can see that artist's name. And what do you know? A young emerging artist by the name of Adolf Hitler has signed this painting.
An original, a one of one.
These people have an Adolf Hitler original as some of their possessions closest to their soul. Quote.
And what is so silly about this too is like when she first enters the room, we see her staring at the portrait. It takes all of that for her to realize that they're fascists. It took all of that to look closer, to look at the details, to once again see that she has been fooled. And that's why back in, what was it, season 2, they're like, when they asked Harper, who's someone at Peer Point that's easy and naive that we can get over, she immediately goes, Yasmin, honey. She's just too easy. I also made a note that this room filled with their possessions closest to their soul is also Stephen Miller's playroom.
Nick Fuentes' baby nursery.
Nick Fuentes' nursery. Exactly.
Yeah. It's just really fucking sad. I'm just like, Yasmin, you are so dumb. I just
don't
have anything else to say.
Yeah. So now let's go back through and get to while all this was happening in Vienna, in the UK, Sterntown they're sniffing around trying to figure out, okay, what is going on in these tender files. We get back to the Sterntown HQ and see the room is filled with boxes of which Rishi had in his hand walking in with. So I guess this is all the stuff that they have. Rishi basically is their errand boy for all the little dirty work that they need to do. And they're trying to figure out what these codes mean. And Harper's like really diligently looking through it. And we learn in this point that Pierre, which is one of the investors, wants a deal that if he invests $90 million, Eric needs to invest $10 million. And whatever of his own money, and whatever the $10 million that they lose, because he's betting on them losing money first, will be Eric's $10 million that they lose. And Eric's concerned because that's basically his children's inheritance, and he would have to liquidate the whole Lily. What is it, Lily Lolly? What is it? Whatever the Lily Laura.
The Lily Laura Family Foundation.
The Lily Laura Family Foundation will have to be liquidated. To which Harper's like, Eric, you do not need to do all that. I never asked you to do that. Like, it is completely okay. But Eric is also like, girl, why are you still here? Didn't you say you had plans tonight? You said you were going to hang out with some boys?
Operation Normal, girl.
Yeah, you can tell he's really kind of being like a dad almost in this scene too. It's like, I thought you weren't you gonna go hang out with Becky at the mall and go get some ice cream? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what are you still doing in here smoking cigarettes inside with the windows closed?
Mm-hmm.
Harps. And we just sort of see Eric as a mentor, and he or at least trying to be a
Mm-hmm.
mentor for both work and life.
Yes, and he tells her, I've lived a life where everything is work. I've lived a life where everything is leisure. There is a middle ground, which Harper is
Yeah.
I think in this scene she softens a little bit. We enter our Harper is on edge. She's combing through all
Yeah.
these files by herself. She's taking this super seriously. Sail Away is playing on the phone for Tinder's holding offices. She's trying to call around and make sense of all of these documents. And I think Eric telling her that was she unclenched slightly.
A little bit. She
Just a
softened
little
a
bit.
little bit.
Just a little
Yeah.
bit. But then we get to her date night with Quabina,
Yeah,
as he says.
she tries to leave and she tries to go have a little fun. And our British king is on CPT.
Yeah.
He is 15 minutes late.
He's 15 minutes late. Harper is pissed. She tells him that she's trying to build a business. She don't have 15 minutes.
Right. And she tries to like make some digs at him and just like randomly blurts out, I'm sleeping with other people.
And he's like, okay.
He's just like, okay. I thought we were having fun.
I wrote, wow, he's really an alpha that went to NBA school for sure.
Yeah. He says, I thought we were just hanging out.
And she said, but you like me? And he was like, well, I'm trying, but you're making it hard. And I said, oh, that's cute though. Harper has a crush.
Yeah, she does like him. She's confused of why he likes her, and she's something to him.
Mm-hmm. So she keeps being mean to him. Classic avoidant.
Yeah, classic avoidant.
But Quabina,
and then she tries to stay for a little bit too. I think that softens her a little bit. She's like, okay, well, let me hear you out. Like, okay, cute. And then he pisses her off.
He pisses her off because he's like, you need to calm down. And she's like, I'm just under a lot of pressure. I'm trying to build this business. And he was like, you need to try separating church and state. And that pisses her off, which is interesting, thinking about how much she's trying to balance the intimacy between her and Eric, that she wouldn't try to also do this because she clearly is going to ask him to join her fund.
Yeah, and they've also already worked together before.
Exactly. And she has managed him before as well. But, she just has a crush, so she's just going a little crazy.
Yeah.
But she leaves, she storms out, we get back to Stern's House HQ, and we find Eric in a robe. And he says, I said, Eric in a robe, okay. And he asks her, do you mind me being so casually dressed? And Harper says, don't be fucking weird. And he says, hey, are you good with gifts? I need to know, what do 14-year-old girls like?
Yeah.
So I can get them a gift for their birthday. And she says, you should know what your daughter's like and dislikes. And I said her daddy issues are flaring.
Yeah, she just takes everything. She finds someone to take her problems out on.
Always.
I think she really... It's always someone else's problem.
Yeah, Eric tells her, you seem a little triggered. He says, he says, if you don't want my daughters in the workspace, and Harper starts going off. And he stops her, he says, you seem a little triggered.
Yeah, and he also says, why are you so sharp? Why are you being so sharp?
Yeah. And Harper, in her rant, she essentially says, it starts and ends with work. This is life and death for me. People say that trauma makes you stronger. She says her trauma made her weak. She's had to come out from under it. And I said, me and my consulting job. And Eric is literally the Michael Jackson meme lowering the gun.
Yeah. Like, he's literally, every scene, he's just like, hey, come down. He's really a father. Like, whoa, God.
He's still in dad
says, my trauma traumatized me. Okay. Sister, I just asked you what gift I should get these girls. Do they want a Labubu or not? Like, damn.
Angry black woman on a rampage. Eric is trying to broker a ceasefire, and Harper is. I do think that she's triggered because I think she makes a comment about how he's basically cosplaying a role,
Yeah,
and is not an actual father. And like we said, up until this point, we really haven't heard anything about Harper's dad. So I think
that's true.
now that she's seeing Eric in the act of parenting, and also what he's willing to do for her versus his daughters. I mean, we just came from a scene where he has volunteered to liquidate his girl's
Daughter
inheritance,
funds. Yeah.
his livelihood, his literal life's work for Harper's business.
Yeah.
I think Harper is starting to realize kind of the magnitude of their relationship and how enmeshed they are.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Harper says, "Did you know I'm a twin?" And Eric is thrown completely off.
He's completely blown. Like, what are you talking about?
And he says, "No, because you never mentioned it." And then he's basically like, "But I did find this."
Right. He's like, girl, let's just talk about work. We're not good at talking about personal. Let's just talk about work.
Every time it gets too intimate, they pull back.
Yep. Yep. And I think, like she says, it starts and ends with work for her. Like, it's not about the communication, although she needs that. She does need someone to keep her in reality. Everything is not about work. Life is not all about work. Okay. It's not all about that. It's just about having some fun. Like, let's banter a little. Let's know each other a little. And she's just like, And Eric responds with, okay, well, let's talk about work then. I've been while you were out with your mans, I did a little digging myself and saw some things aren't right. Every time I click I look up some of these addresses, it's taking me to a strange little house in the hills of Britain, which is like a little regular person home. Why is that? That shouldn't be what a multi-billion-dollar business looks like at this point. Which, side note, when you sent me a Zoom link today, I clicked, and you can do this. If you click the link that's not the one at the bottom, but that comes up of like Google tells you like, oh, click this link here. If you click that, it takes you to some little random house that says Zoom. Yeah. And I was like, literally what we're talking about today, but
someone is manually making these meeting rooms for us and sending them out when we
yeah, literally. So that's also what's going on in whatever Tinder is doing in the hills of Sunderland.
When Eric finds this, Harper immediately calls Sweetpea and tells her she needs her expertise. And this is where I'm like, Sweetpea has what Yasmin doesn't, so Harper gives her the respect that Yasmin feels like she should get.
Right. And what she has is smart wits. She has common sense. She has
curiosity
brain cells that works together.
Yes.
At the same time.
And I also wrote that I could understand the pressure that Harper is feeling trying to stay low and build because, you know, when you're in your 30s, shit gets a little hairy. When you're entering your 30s, your career is turned topsy-turvy. Girl, I get it. Sometimes
you don't know, I get it.
We get it, sister, we get it.
You gotta go hard. You gotta go hard.
But also, you know, pull back a little bit.
Yeah, have a little fun, but be about your business.
Yeah. So before they go on their field trip to Sunderland, we go back to the Fin Digest HQ, and James is trying to get this story published, but they still haven't received any answers back from Tinder regarding their pre-publishing questions. And so legal has basically cut out a lot of the copy, which Harper was concerned about at the beginning of the episode. And James is like, you know what? Fuck it. If you just publish it, we'll be able to get enough noise so that people will feel like they have to respond. And he's, again, hoping that this will kind of turn into a series of articles where he's
Can do more
uncovering
investigative
fraud.
work. Yeah.
Exactly. And he tells his boss that, if you don't approve this trip to Accra so I can get some more intel, I'll just book it on my own. And his boss is like, okay, whatever, nigga, book it.
Yeah, go to Africa then. Oh my God,
it's
we do not care.
Approved. Right.
We do not care.
And he calls him a prat, which is British for idiot. And I thought that was funny. So James is on the beat. He's headed to Africa. Sweetpea and Harper are headed to this random house in Sunderland. They walk up on it.
Yep.
And Sweetpea says, it's kind of sketchy. It looks like a street I grew up on.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, you from the slums.
She's from the slums. She's new money, too.
New money. But she walks up and she's like, let me handle it. She tells the lady that they're from the Office of National Statistics. She says, we might have rung your doorbell by mistake. So the woman starts to close the door. She's like, but we were under the impression that this was an office. Who works here? And she goes, oh, well, my son works from home. Again, mothers answering for their
and
sons,
their boys.
Living in their house.
In the attic doing God knows what.
Doing God knows what. So we meet Jeffrey, who shows Harper and Sweetpea what he does, which is he gets these emails from payment sites in Africa. They have PDFs of all these transactions in the emails, and then Jeffrey then collates them and buckets the transactions based on the amount. And so essentially he's hand coding these payments by price to hide the source of the income.
Yep. Yeah, and it's also creating the charts that are used for all their business deals and sales. So it's like it's directly going to Tinder. He doesn't even know. This guy does not know that he's working for Tinder. He's just doing some random remote work job.
Yes.
It's super funny and shady because that's what I figure some of these places are doing. Like
all of these ghost remote work from home jobs where you're just doing data entry. This is exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, you are literally working for Elon Musk. You're working for
you're processing porn payments so that they don't show up on bank statements
in Africa.
In Africa, and Sweetpea is on a high after this. She was right. Her hunch was right. Now Harper knows that there is a story developing, that James was onto something. They're going to get to the bottom of it. And Harper is like, Sweetpea, come join the team. You need to work for us. And Sweetpea is like, Harper, sister, I see your track record.
Sister, you don't stay in one place longer than a Mississippi Minute. I can't keep following you, girl.
Yes, and she's like, I need to have your word that you're going to see this through. And Harper's like, you have my word, which I'm like, that don't mean a goddamn thing.
Yeah, I put it hard to get a word from a serial liar like Harper. Like, that girl had her toes twisted the whole time. She had her fingers crossed behind her back. Every word she spoke with her. But
100%.
I hope she does right by Sweetpea. I hope.
So Sweetpea calls Eric and lets her know she's joining the team. Harper calls James, lets him know you're absolutely correct. Keep following that story.
Also, Sweetpea makes clear that she cannot be in a room with Rishi.
Yes.
In that, she said, "Don't ever have me in a room with him again." That's part of her terms and conditions of working with Harper, in Sterntown.
So I'm interested to see how that will play. But I also thought it was interesting the different archetypes of incels we've seen on industry so far, especially coming out of this man's basement, thinking about Rishi, who didn't do the thing that everybody thinks he did, but still is a bad man.
Yeah.
Eric,
Jonah, Whitney.
All these sexual deviants, like...
Yasmin,
oh my God, Yasmin so damn red pill, it's just crazy. So then we finally get to this Austrian regulator meeting, and we see Lisa from the Lumi Inquiry, our good sis.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this where I know her from.
That's Jean and them.
Me, I know you. You're from the parking lot.
Yes. So Henry's pitching this bank idea, and he's saying it's for the greater good. He's trying to use his his goodwill that he's built up from this MP seat that he held, and his kind of rehabilitation in the public eye. And Lisa basically says, noblesse oblige. The aristocracy knows best. Noblesse oblige is when the rich have the responsibility to those who are less privileged to be generous. And she says that, it's her job to see through a charlatan's rebranding. It's like, she's not buying this shit at all.
She's not buying it. And that shakes up Henry.
Yeah.
That shakes him up.
And she also says she didn't forget that Lumi inquiry and how she had him shaking there either. Yeah. So that really throws him off his game. So Whitney steps in at this point, and he's essentially like, it would be an act of narcissism bordering on self-harm to gut this deal, to not let it go through. And Lisa is trying to argue back, but then we get the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff coming in. So Jennifer Bevan...
Ricky Martin with the Y.
Ricky Martin with the Y walks in. Jennifer Bevan and Lisa look at each other like, did you know he was coming? Colin, the Austrian regulator, is a little bit confused as well. Everybody at the table is kind of like, wait, what's going to happen?
What's going on?
Exactly. If the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff is coming in, you would assume there's an issue. But no, basically Ricky Martin is on board. Lisa tries to argue that the Labor Party doesn't want this to violate antitrust laws or cause a monopoly, and Whitney makes the argument that it's the opposite, that this will bring competition because it's going to show these companies a different way of doing things. And as Lisa is trying to argue against it, the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff basically cuts in and says, the Prime Minister wants it to be known that he loves it.
Yeah. So that puts a pin in it.
Yeah, that's dead.
Like, that's that. That's that. Stop all this. Let's just let it go through.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's high on Tinder.
Everybody's high on Tinder except Henry. Henry's still really thrown off by his app not being bought.
Yeah.
So I want to know how that's going to play out, because you're getting to, I wrote that he's getting to in his feelings.
Yeah, he's in his feelings. And I also think he does, like, Harry's not dumb. He knows something is strange here, but he hasn't been able to have the time, really, to connect the dots. Because every time he does, he's, for whatever reason, giving his power to Yasmin. In all the moments where he could make those decisions for himself and to really be like, let me see what the room is, he does that, or he loses confidence in himself. Yeah. So it's like, will Henry put the dots together? Will it come like, no.
I kind of think he will before Yasmin, because he has more of a moral compass. Yasmin does not.
Yasmin doesn't. Yasmin's never been around it, but again, like you're saying, like, it's how they were raised. He was raised in that aristocracy. He knows what his role is. Like they said, his seat was there for a generation, and he was the one to go opposite of his party and what they like for the past 30 years. Like, there's something to Henry Muck that is very straight edge, oddly enough, even though he does everything else. But he has a moral compass to him, so.
Yeah, he does. I think the name, again, like, he knows that he's an aristocrat. He knows he has to live up to that. So I think that really, like how Morris said he doesn't want to be defined by his family name. I think Henry is okay with being defined by his family name, but he just feels like he's not living up to it.
Yeah, he just wants a higher standard, especially because his senior killed himself.
Right, exactly. So we're back at Tinder HQ. After that business meeting, whatever. I guess they got it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they got it. The trade went through, question mark.
I guess. John Moran has been traded. And
oh, girl, I thought you were giving me tea in real time.
The pause was crazy.
I cannot believe you just dropped that on Bullish podcast.
I'm like, did you freeze?
Oh, God.
So to speak, hypothetically.
So to speak, yes. The trade went through.
So they're back at Tinder HQ, and the Fin Digest piece has been published, and essentially, Henry's like, that it was sensationalist. Everybody was right. They're publishing responses to it now. And then he pulls out the paper and shows Yasmin Moritz's article.
Yeah.
And he says, you went behind my back to my uncle to get this man published. And she says that it's just soft skill negotiation, just something that she has to do. And I wrote that Yasmin was overinflating her sense of importance here.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, girl, you got him an op-ed. Relax.
Yeah. He says, Henry tells her, don't be so fucking naive. And she says, you should be thanking me because I got the deal to go through.
No. It's like, you really think the deal got through? Maybe. But I doubt it.
So.
I don't think so. I want to know. It's like whatever happened with that prime minister is what they got the deal through.
Yeah, which
that's the question.
Yasmin was not in that conversation.
No, and it was probably whenever Yasmin was out burping and gulping down oysters with Johanna.
She was burping and farting in the woods.
And running after dogs when the big boys were at the table. Like, girl, the op-ed did not do anything but stroke that little man's ego. That's it. Like,
she says you should be thanking me, and Henry says, well, what you did with Hayley didn't feel right.
Yeah. He said that was enabler behavior.
He said, I'm an addict, and it felt very enabler behavior.
It was.
I agree.
He's right.
He's right. I mean, I stand with men.
When men are right, men are right. Very rare.
Let them speak.
No. That was the other host, not me, ladies and gentlemen. Not me, no.
Yasmin said, you wanted her, so you fucked her. I was just bold enough to know what to give you.
Like, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
And you can just very clearly see that he's not into it.
No,
he's not. Very disgusted. I think he feels taken advantage of, for real.
I agree too. I think he realized like how just also messy the situation is going to be. I think he realized Yasmin set him up. He has this boss employee relationship with Hayley. He has just been in this fascist castle. Like, it's just a very uncomfortable situation.
It's too much going on. And this place that you're supposed to be doing your rebrand at is doing something shady.
Yes.
And they're getting outed for it, and everybody's telling you to relax and just be calm and just play the game and just be the face, which he does not really want to be. Mm-hmm. Henry Muck, unfortunately, a victim this episode.
Much to our chagrin again.
Our chagrin, damn.
So Hayley walks in at this moment, and Yasmin says, "Big weekend, Calabasas." Also, I just realized that Yasmin is harassing this girl the same way that Kenny harassed her associate year or whatever. Like, bitch.
That's weird.
You're fucking weird.
And Harry's like, stop. Like, he's really disgusted by this. He's really disgusted by her.
Hayley is in her party girl era. She's on her Euro summer, as I already said. And she says, I'm too young for a hangover. And so Yasmin invites her out for a nightcap with them.
But she says, and I can make some introductions for you. What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that? Hayley is completely down a clown. She's ready to go, but Henry is disgusted. It's like, don't cancel your plans.
No, you can go home. Yeah, go with your friends.
Please don't.
We're not here for that.
So Hayley,
I'm not anyway.
Yes, Hayley leaves the room. She reads the room, then leaves the room.
Yeah. And my favorite line of the whole thing, he says, who the fuck did I marry? I said, word to Risa Tisa. Resa.
Part 1. Who the fuck did I marry?
Part 1. Who the fuck did I marry?
And Yasmin says back, shouldn't you know that, darling?
She's so scary now. I don't like Yasmin anymore.
Do. Sail away, sail away, sail away. No, Yasmin's a fucking creep.
She's a creep. She is her daddy's son. He's her daddy's son.
Literally, like, ew.
Creeperoni. Okay.
So Sail Away
And
is
then,
back on, which loved that scoring choice. The former hold music for Tinder HQ. And we're back at Stern Town. They're at a bank meeting.
Yep. They're Deutsch.
They're Deutsch. Basically, they are talking about how the article ain't getting no motion. Nothing has happened with the market. No one is moved by this random journalist, like Eric said. And they're standing outside waiting on a trader.
Mm-hmm.
So as they're waiting, Eric turns to Harper and says that he accepted Peter's terms and that he's gonna basically give him $10 million of his money. Right. And Harper's like, I told you we shouldn't do that.
We should not do that.
And he said, I gave it to you. And all I ask is that we widen the perimeter for what we consider to be acceptable discourse between us. I won't hurt you just by knowing you. And he reaches out to touch her. Harper winces like
literally pain. Pulls her arm like back a little, like, girl.
Yes.
We ain't never did this before. Why would you choose that to do this?
We ain't never did this before.
Well, how would you choose right now to do this?
Harper said, hold up, Playboy. And she says, it's a miracle that we're even at this point. I really appreciate all that you've done for me. Thank you so much. It's more than I deserve. But you and I both know that nothing good comes from us being more intimate than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She said, let's keep it strictly business.
Yeah, let's close the book. Let's not even go down this pathway. And Eric kind of looks devastated. He looks a little embarrassed.
He does. I wonder, so I had a question, like, do you really think that Harper is trying to enforce boundaries, or do you think she's just trying to preserve the fun? Do you think that, what do you think?
I do think that she's trying to enforce some boundaries because she really wants this to work. I really do think she's trying to be like, because it is intimate to give your daughter's fun, your daughter's inheritance to me to play with, and we're not even sure.
$10 million.
Like, you could easily lose $10 million from me. Like, let's not make this more than what it is, because I will run off on you.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, to think about who Harper is, like, Harper is a runner. Harper cannot, when things get too tough, she does crumble. And it's like, I think if she's honest with herself, that's who she is.
Yes.
To an extent. And she wants things to work, and she doesn't want to also have now this pressure of, now I have this man's life savings that I have to work with too. Mm-hmm. If this all goes wrong, he's really gonna be pissed. Like, I think she's seeing it for what it is, and it's like, come on, let's keep it real.
You put me in a bad. You're asking me to rob you, basically.
You're asking me to rob you. We know where this goes. Let's not make it too personal. So now I know all about your kids and stuff. Like, but they also need to not be living together for that to happen. So I don't know. It is an odd boundary to make in the bank before you're about to go do some trading.
I agree. Eric looked a little deflated. But then Kenny comes, and they're like, oh, Deutsche. And he says, the universe has quiet designs to keep us humble. I said, don't I know it?
So what is that? Is that a small bank? Like, is that the idea?
Deutsche is like that. Yeah. It's like if you work for like Deloitte, but you get sent overseas, like you get you get like a
Deloitte, Radia, whatever.
Yeah, like you're kind of an offshoot bank. You're not a major player because it's already not an American bank. American banks have all the money. It's not a Swiss bank. So yeah.
So you just
C tier. It's kind of like where they go to die.
I get that.
But still,
likely place for Kenny to be.
Yeah,
and it's a likely place for Kenny to be.
Yeah, Kenny's bob was completely folded under. What the hell is going on? Kenny's Bob was a no. That shit, hot or not. Hot or not.
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 He had him a nasty William. He had him a nasty Robert.
Lord Farquhar Park. Completely folded under. That was crazy. What's wrong with a Bob? Something. Literally. What the hell?
Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm. But, you know, he's in good spirits. He's being a good sport. He's meeting with the Pierpoint alum. And Quabena finally shows up, BTW, all CPT again. Right. That's going to be an issue.
It's going to be an issue. He cannot be on killing people time like this. No. And it's also funny, Eric being like, that's your man?
That's your man. After Eric,
that's your man?
You was just on the phone with some black bitches in the background talking about some, it's dinner time, whatever, so you can have motion and I can't. Like, right. This is why. This is why. This is why. So Kenny's, you know, right. Kennedy asks Eric, how does it feel to finally have the power?
That's what the Bob was giving. The Bob was giving Kennedy. The Bob was giving Hillary Clinton.
If you listeners, if you watch Drag Race, this is Kennedy Davenport hair. LaGuardia, Newark, Kennedy Davenport. So Kenny says, how does it feel to finally have the power? And Eric says something along the lines of, he don't want to let it go. He wants to enshrine it.
Yeah.
And then they get in the elevator, and Eric apologizes to Kenny. He's like, you know what? Like, I'm sorry. Kind of, let's let bygones be bygones. I kind of felt like this was a genuine moment from Eric. Like when Kenny apologized to Yasmin, I think that was those were two genuine apologies.
Yeah, those were genuine apologies. The whole show. But yeah, I think that was genuine.
Yeah. And the elevator closes and they're off to their meeting.
And that's it.
That's it.
And that was episode 3.
That was episode 3. It was a lot. I think some of the themes that were coming out were what we've already said: sex is power, sex for desire, these shifting power dynamics, and like old versus new. What's like hot and fresh and fun and flirty, and what's like tradition, these traditional values, and how there's this like struggle for that in the land of institutional power. I also thought a lot of morality was coming up this episode. Right and wrong. Where's the line? What's your personal moral compass? Yeah.
Where are your boundaries?
Where are your boundaries? And then, of course, age-old question, who is your daddy? Daddy issues galore.
Daddy issues. Biblical question. And also, like, again, which we've seen in every episode of, like, this idea of storytelling. Whose story is it to tell? What's the story? And how is it getting perceived by the world? Like, what is the perception that you want the story of the story?
And
like, there's the truth, there's a lie, there's a story, and there's the perception of the story. And where do you want to be? And yeah, how long can you sustain that story?
Yeah, I agree. Okay, sister, let's talk about these current investor sentiments.
All right, let's get to our current investor sentiments. Okay, so as you know, at the end of the show, we're going to provide our investor sentiments. It's our general mood of all our different players in this episode, and how we feel about them and their future performance, and like where do we see them going in the next few episodes. So who are we bullish on? Who are we bearish on? Who is the most volatile? And where or who was our safe haven in this episode? So let's go through them really quick. Who are you bullish on?
I'm bullish on Sweetpea still.
Bullish on Sweetpea. I get that. I think I'm going out of order, but my safe haven was Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea is just so smart and like really on it. She finds the problem. She just wants to do her job. And I love that. That's the only person that really just wants to do their job.
You know what? I'm going to have to say my safe haven this episode was Rishi.
Oh, because he's not in that episode.
He is, but he's, like I said, he's like wounded only because he genuinely is innocent of this one thing, but he's still doing his job. And he did not let that shake. He did not let that shake him. He was trying to defend himself, but ultimately was like, Eric and Harper are helping me. This setup looks good. Here's what I said I was going to get you. Can you pay me?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Rishi.
Wow. Okay. All right. Who are you bearish on? Oh, wait. Who am I bullish on? I'm still bullish on Stern Town. Stern Town forever. Stern Town forever.
Okay.
I love them. I'm happy that we're communicating well. We're putting our cards on the table. We're establishing boundaries. Those are all things for a healthy relationship.
They are still my most volatile. Still. That's like they just shaking up a can of Sprite in that hotel room working together. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, I do need them to go to their home.
Separate quarters.
Why are they living together?
I don't think they're living together. I think they're just working. So, like, Harper is there working so long. She's
all the time.
Eric's space. So,
yeah,
I think it is essentially living together, but they do need to separate. But even if they separate, that's still in them.
Yeah, and they're still gonna cut up. Okay, who are you bearish on?
Ghislaine Maxwell, a.k.a. Yasmin Hanani.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you this week, sister. Whatever she got going on, she's going to jail.
Prison.
I don't like the whole, I'm going to set you up with some introductions. To do what? Who does she need to meet?
Especially that you know.
Who does she need to meet?
You don't know any good people.
I haven't heard one person yell, auntie, your old coworker, everybody you with is just kind of nasty and looking to have sex and to do drugs. Yeah. She's not safe. And we'll see what this story takes her. I'm very interested to see Yasmin's progression because it's not looking good for the girl.
Wait, I'm also bullish on Harper and Quibena.
I don't know. She don't like that black man. She's more likely to get with Jim Diker before she gets with Quibena.
I know, but still,
that's the most. Every time they have her with the black guys, it's in real life she not with no black man.
I know, but I like their dynamic. I do think it's gonna implode at some point, but I think right now, like you said, they're just hanging out.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I guess I'm not nothing on that. She ain't serious. I'm not fucking with that at all. Well, even when they started having sex, I was like, unrealistic, but okay.
I'm also extremely. At first, I was bullish on Yasmin and Hayley. Take that the fuck back. I'm extremely bearish on both of them.
Yeah, that's my most volatile. Whatever that is, that threesome is bad for business. First of all, why is she pimping out Henry to the EA?
Yes,
I don't like it. I don't like her pimping Henry. Henry is not stable enough for that.
Yeah. We're bullish on Henry this week.
We are bullish on Henry this week.
We're men sympathizers this week.
I'm just this 1 week. I'm just sure next week he gotta do something to piss me off.
Yeah.
But they couldn't give Jon Snow that bad of a character. No. His story arc in television is he's a hero.
And your notes, I saw you say he still got that Jon Snow body. Yeah, no, that's right.
I did. Body, yada, 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 yada. I said, okay,
Body T, British coming. Yeah, we're bullish. We're bullish on men this week. And then I am bearish on... Oh, I think Tinder is volatile as fuck.
Oh, yeah. Tinder is volatile. Tinder is definitely volatile. I don't know where they're going. I'm excited to see where that goes. Because I'm really like, what are y'all cooking up with what this is going to be?
They're going back to
I feel like it's going to be something so dark. It's going to have chills run through my body.
I'm looking forward to it. I like the challenge. I really like how... I just think that they go there on this show. I feel like with the new influx of watchers, people are focused on the wrong shit right now. Yeah. And not how they're mirroring these characters to our world necessarily. I mean, yes. The bullies get it, but not everybody.
The bullies get it. Shout out to the bullies.
So I like seeing like how human and fucked up they are, because it's in such a cerebral way. Like, they're not straight up killing each other, although they did allege that some of that is going to happen this season. But it's not like it's not like violent in that way. Where it's like it's bloody and gruesome.
It's like mentally violent.
I love a psychological thriller.
Yeah. It's really fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's really interesting. And I like that I can't guess what's going to happen next. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of shows, like, they do the Netflixification of the plot, and they just want you to know what's happening so you can read and do some laundry and buy shit on Amazon while you're watching. And it's like, this one you actually do got to pay some attention. Like, you need to lock in. Yes. You got to lock in. And you need to catch it, because you will not have a clue of what's going on. And so... It was fun episode. We're back to what we know industry to be, and I hope it's more of this and less of last week, unless it's like Sweetpea's story. I want to know what Sweetpea was doing the past year or so.
Yeah, I agree. Let's lock in the episode 4, bullies.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next week, bullies.